what up, world? You already know what time it is. The boy Mac Mizzle for the most. Let me get you back. Don't boast. All we ever did was give a toast to the real folks who done paved the way in a real way for us players to play. I'm parlaying this great game that we got for y'all today. And I got my right hand with me, as usual. WI in the building. See what the real ones can do.
Yeah,
End off there now. What's happening, player?
slow motion with it. I can't call it. I don't want
Yeah.
to spoil it.
All right. All right. There you know.
I can't
We
call it,
went
and I
through it.
don't want to spoil it.
So we gotta go through it to get to it. Let's get it. So
True.
38 Spesh came out and yo, tell Jadakiss Son, because Jadakiss Son said 38 Spesh got him on a track, you know? And now Jadakiss felt, I think that's why he felt the ways, you know? And he didn't want to do a track with 38 no more. It was like, oh shit, Son said that. So now 38 put out this $500,000 challenge, and we ain't hear a peep from Jada since. But the little Jada came in and he's like, "Oh, my pops needs more money," blah blah blah, before he could rap. But nah, you can't backtrack now. You know, he already said that he got smoked on the track. Now you saying he needs more money? I mean, I, I'm pretty sure his pops can hold his own, you know, and handle himself and spit that right shit. But I know, you know, it's his son, so he's trying to make it right and more spicier by putting up the amount. But really and truly, I think 500,000 is a good amount, man. Right now, in this economy, shit, a battle for a mill wouldn't be civilized.
Listen, you better know the value of a dollar, cause man, 500 big ones.
Right?
That hits different. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So we have it all for you, folks. We're gonna break it down for y'all real quick, real slick. And J1, I know you want to come to the 80 of pops and all that. Well, you gotta sit this one out, man, because you know what I'm saying. He gotta let us know how he feels. Not you. Hold up. Fair use, son.
You heard? No, that's a fact, though. That's a fact.
If you're 38 spesh,
Listen. Oh, they gonna learn today. Wants to be the boss, so don't get lost in the sauce.
listening to on YouTube because she just got an intellectual curiosity about things. Hey man, yesterday's price is not today's price. Whatever I said 10 years ago, do not hold me accountable for it. At this point, if you're 38 special, you gotta be feeling crazy right now. All you wanted to do was battle somebody you thought was your equal, somebody that you know got bars, somebody that you look up to, and above all, somebody that you know would never duck smoke from anybody. However, 38 Special did not factor in politics. This was never going to be a fair fight for 38 Special. 38 Special is probably thinking, if I put out this record going at Jim Jones, Jadakiss, and also Fat Joe, at least one of those three guys is going to respond back. However, he's been met with nothing but silence and also gatekeeping. From Dave East removing his verse from his album to Joe Budden no longer wanting to interview him anymore, 38 Spesh now finds himself in a very awkward position. After this this record fools me, seems like nobody wants to be affiliated with him anymore. Now, shout out to Mark from the Joe Budden podcast. He spoke with 38 Spesh this week, and 38 Spesh actually told him the reason why he dissed Chrissy.
Because you're playing with people that have relationships. Yeah. That are loved. Yeah. So now people think I'm biased in my reporting of this. I mean, I spoke special. And there were some elements that I could understand why he would think that you were biased. Because there were some things said to him that I didn't see from Jim's side specifically that I understand why he was disliked to it. Yeah, I do. Really? I didn't know that. Yeah. Care to expound or not? Yeah, I think one of Jim's people made a diss song talking about his dead brother. Yeah, now, sorry. One of Jim's people did that? Yeah, but I think Jim posted it or something. I don't know the full details. And Jim also posted some things that seemed a little bit threatening online. I can see why, yes. I saw that later too. I'm not leaving this to rap. Yeah. So they've been threatening him the whole time. Yeah, so I just understand why you would take it a little bit further, I guess, in the worst place. And if that's your bag, you can talk about violence. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the dead brother part, I didn't know. That's a different thing. Yeah. But my thing is when you bring somebody else's wife, their kids, shit like that, to the border, it gets muddy for me. So if you cracking on my clothes, let's crack on your clothes. Because I really heard him cracking on his clothes. Yeah. And that's all I heard. His outfits and shit. So at that point, I was like, wow, you go from clothes to that. If he was talking about his dead brother, it definitely changed a little bit of things. But I just believe that we should stay here. Like the family and all that other shit is a different arena. The women and kids, like to your point, is always held in a different regard than your dead homies. Yeah. Now, spesh might have put him in and said, not dead brother. That's different. It's different. That's different. That's true. Sorry. Gloves are off at that point. My man says it. Right. But if you post it.
Now, 38 Spesh wanted to do a verse.
How's the white boy the realest one out of all of them talking there? You see that?
Yeah.
He said, dead brother. Blows her off after that, no?
Yep.
Let's rewind it again.
So you're about
I ain't crazy.
Because there were some things said to him that I didn't see from Jim's side specifically that I understand why he was disliked to it. Yeah, I do. Really? I didn't know that. Yeah. Care to expound or not? Yeah, I think one of Jim's people made a diss song talking about his dead brother. Yeah, now, sorry. One of Jim's people did that? Yeah, but I think Jim posted it or something. I don't know the full details. And Jim also posted some things that seemed a little bit threatening online. I can see why, yes. I saw that later too. I'm not leaving this to rap. Yeah. So they've been threatening him the whole time. Yeah, so I just understand why you would take it a little bit further, I guess, in the worst place. And if that's your bag, you can talk about violence. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the dead brother part, I didn't know. That's a different thing. Yeah. But my thing is when you bring somebody else's wife, their kids, shit like that, into the border, it gets muddy for me. So if you cracking on my clothes, let's crack on your clothes. Because I really heard him cracking on his clothes. Yeah. And that's all I heard. His outfits and shit. So at that point, I was like, wow, you go from clothes to that. If he was talking about his dead brother, it definitely changed a little bit of things. But I just believe that we should stay here. Like the family and all that other shit is a different arena. The women and kids, like to your point, is always held in a different regard than your dead homies. Yeah. Now, spesh might have put him in and said, not dead brother. That's different. It's different. That's different. That's true. Sorry. Gloves are off at that point. My man says it. Right. If you post it.
Now, 38 Spesh wanted to do a versus with Jadakiss. He told Jada, let's put up $500K each in a 3-round verse, my records versus your records.
I think I'm better than everybody. Let me jinx it out. I respect that. Yeah. I want to ask you something else. Would you like to be on the same stage with Jim Jones or Jadakiss and y'all, you know what I'm saying, hash this out? Yeah, so check this, right? This is what I want to say right here, right? Check this.
Jada want to do something, we ain't got to go back and forth, right? I got $500,000 on me right now. We could do 3 verses on stage, round for round, 3 verses, round for round. That's it. And we handle this like men in the ring. All of that back and forth shit. I got 500,000 on me. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got the cash. Have Fat Joe put it up, nigga. You heard me? No, seriously. No, I respect that. I respect that. And that's how we can handle that. If not, then we ain't gotta go with the back and forth shit, throw shots on other niggas records. Tell him before he dissed me on the song that again, but that he don't own it. You know, we could go and put up some cash and do this the right way. I gotta have a ticket on myself. But we could do this in the ring with no crowd because it's in a popularity contest. 3 judges. We could have G-Rap, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane as the judges. So, woo, this shit all the way hip hop. Even though Jadakiss has not responded yet, however, his son J1 has responded. Somebody tagged him on Twitter in a very old clip of Jada saying he would take 500K to battle somebody. Oh, you don't fuck with the battle shit. We ain't getting like that. But you think I slow and gladly take anybody you need. Stop. They got 500 to 700,000. Let them be able to smoke that the food. And drink whoever you want to make the food. It's always the thing. Makes the snow away to China and the niggas we battle anybody that's me. You keep to do it. Yo, agree, boys get busy. I think let me give a quick. Give me 5 and 700,000. I'm negotiating from 750. Negotiations. 5 and 7. Want anybody you want on the list. Put home crews on this. Put niggas in a mansion over there. I'm sworn to all. Put anybody you want. J1 responded saying that was years ago. The bet gotta be 1 million plus now. Hey dog, come on, man. That 500K is not enough if you ask me. The guy responded to him saying Kiss isn't getting 500K a show, so cut it out. And that's no disrespect. I grew up listening to your pops and the locks. They're my header, but I just came up in a certain era. 500K is 500K. Only niggas like Hove is turning that down, B. J1 responded saying, nigga, the price is up. Do you see how in demand he is? What the fuck are we talking about? I know for a fact the nigga you going hard for is not getting nowhere near that. Maybe not even 10% of that. We just did the same festival in Albany. I know what their budget was. So, from the looks of it, according to his son, 500K is not enough to get Jadakiss in the ring. It gotta be 1 million plus to make it happen. Do I think 38 Spesh has a mill? Yes. Do I think he's going to wager it in a battle against Jadakiss? Absolutely not. Now, yesterday, one of Jadakiss affiliates also put out a diss record going at 38 Spesh. This was Brillo's response back to 38 Spesh yesterday. Yeah, bitch.
Brillo?
Always for it. If you thinking back, you wouldn't be hurt. I wouldn't take your money anyway. I think you dirt. I'm moving towards you.
And have the music playing.
Spesh is going to wager a mill. Does it seem like Jadakiss is ducking smoke? Or does he even have to entertain this? Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later, man.
So you see the capping, dog? You see the capping? If you
Imagine,
said 38 smoked
imagine.
your pops on a track, why wouldn't he want to battle for 500 for half a mil? And he said it already himself.
Okay, so just imagine 38 Spesh comes up with 1.5 million now.
Right.
What do you think Kiss is gonna say after that?
I don't know. Is he gonna say he gonna have to say yeah? That's a good amount of money. But now that he don't want to battle, now it looks like he's you know what I'm saying? It looks shaky for him because like shit, my right hand man got the rat allegations and I won't take the battle. Because there's not enough money? Come on, that's not the case. If that was the case, then you wouldn't have said that he smoked him on the track. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I'm looking at. You know? Like, why you want to? Why do you need so much money on the cat? Does he call you out for a battle? I
Right.
mean, I get it, but he probably ain't got it like that. He's underground, like you know. So it's about a career. He ain't putting up the mill. So Jadakiss can't say nothing. Ah man, that ain't hip hop. Jada. Yeah, I'm disappointed in you, doggy. I thought you would have took that and went sparring right away. Now take a slight jab on a record for Fat Joe, Fat Slow, Fat Joe.
You say
Oh
you want to
man,
hear a bar for bar, John.
you know what I'm saying?
Going
Come
head
on,
to
dog.
head, bar for bar, toe to toe.
He gave whole songs. He gave 50 whole songs. You know what I'm saying? It was the battle.
John? Did he draw rule? Sorry. What was that?
G Unit.
Yeah, that was G Unit. Eh? Okay, okay.
So let's keep it a powwow, dog. Who do you think in the rap game would turn down that offer if they got it right now? Or would accept it? Let's say accept it.
Yeah, it should be who would accept it without fail.
I think Lloyd Banks is taking that right now. Banks? Banks is eating that food right now, bro.
Right.
Uh 500,000.
Ransom.
Ransom's eating that food right now. Like yesterday. Uh Conway's eating that food. You know what I'm saying? I could take a while to chew it, but he eating that food. Benny will take it. Might lose, but
Benny and 38 Spesh? I don't know. That would be a good one. I think that would be a good one.
yeah, man. But Benny look like he taking Jadakiss side. Oh, hate man, Benny.
Actually, okay, so yeah, he might lose just because 38 Spesh signed Benny at one point.
um, I think a lot of people would take that right now. I think Corrupt would take it right now. I think Crooked Eye would take that right now.
Jeez.
I think
So I had a Prince.
Sorry, the Prince will take that right now. The game will take that. Nah, for real. Am I lying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't lying, dog. Uh, who else? Who else? Young Jeezy will take that. No, I don't know. Bar for bar, I don't know. But for sure, Fab will take that.
Go so.
For sure. Who else?
King Los.
All the battle rappers will take that. Graph will take that. Cassidy will take that right now. Beanie Siegel will take that. You want me to keep going? Freeway will take that. Right now, a half a ticket.
Jeez. I like Freeway. I want to hear Freeway get in his bag like that, for real.
Come on, dog. These niggas is bullshitting.
Who
Uh-huh.
else? What about I'll be out.
I'll be out to take that. He needs the money. Shit.
Method Man.
Method Man will take that. Papoose will take that.
Ooh, Papoops, Papoofs.
Petey Crack will take that right now. Young Chris. Neef will take that. Oskino.
Rob Bucks.
Rob Bucks. Uh, Rock Marciano will take that right now. A
Drag
lot of
On.
people, a lot of people's taking that.
What about Drag
Currency will
On?
take that right now. Huh?
Drag On.
Dragon will take. Dragon will definitely take that right now. What? YG will take that right now. Royce the 5'9" will take that right now.
Ooh,
Joel Ortiz will take that right now.
Joel. Joel's a beast, for real.
Shit, even Cameron will take that. You stay there. I was thinking about it. Half a mil ticket?
3 verses?
3 verses?
That's like a
Three,
song.
three judges? That's the best thing right there. No crowd. He said no crowd because it's for hip hop. I mean,
500,000
I
for a
niggas acting
song
like the
rating.
Fool's Mate thing was trash. The Fool's Mate thing is hard, though.
Mhm. Well, who said it was trash?
All right, just niggas in general, they saying that bullshit.
Oh, okay, okay.
Jada. Jada's playing it smart though. He ain't saying nothing. But at the point, you gotta say something. But look, Fat Joe's getting tossed around. about some paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So listen,
I got 500,000 on it. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cash, have Fat Joe put it up next to you. Ain't no real paperwork with my name on it. I mean, if it was, right, I'm so hated that shit would have been. My name is my name. I can't change that. That's the other information. I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it 10,000. We know when it comes to 38 Spesh and his whole Jadakiss debacle, this back and forth, we know it's gotten out of hand to the point where now they screaming paperwork party. I gotta ask Sean, did Terror Squad make a mistake? Because one of Fat Joe's goons from the Terror Squad, Miami, most respected, KAR, was screaming out paperwork, 24 hours. Well, 38 Spesh is answering the door. And he's saying, that's fake. My name is my name. He also issues a challenge to Jadakiss. Yeah, he's issuing a challenge, y'all. $500,000, half a ticket, $500,000 to get on the stage, 3 rounds, 3 verses with 3 judges. Coogee Rap, Rakim. Come on, y'all. And Big Daddy Kane. Is Jadakiss gonna accept, or is he just gonna turn a blind eye to what's going on here? It's a lot to break down, y'all. Let's talk about it. This is Harlem Legend, no. We don't race on the screen. Break it down, just keep it everything. There's not story for everything in between. From God to God. We take it in between. See the world going to go. Every other story
Hey,
is from
hey, 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 hey.
TV where the real is.
Hey, hey. Mm. Yeah.
Yo. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy EO, you aka the Harlem Legend, man. If you're new to the channel, if you're old to the channel, welcome to Harlem Legend TV, please. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you set your bell notifications so you know when I'm dropping a video or going live. Also, make sure you follow me on Spotify. Let's get the Spotify popping so when you're on your way to work, you can still catch that daily dose of Harlem Legend TV. The link will be pinned inside the comment section, and the link will be at the top of the description box. And with that being said, John, yo, it's getting wild. I gotta be real. It doesn't seem like Justin Harris, yeah, 38 Spesh is slowing down. It's only seeming like he's picking up where he left off. Because now, hey, look, man, I gotta be real, man. I don't want to hear, yo, this is hip hop. I do not want to hear my comment section. How does this benefit Jadakiss and this and that? Look, man, the man 38 Spesh, okay, he's issuing a $500,000 versus battle. Okay, 3 rounds, 3 verses, and he also, hey, look, man, he's not playing. I like what he's doing. Okay, he's calling the vets out, and he's also a vet, also, but just from the underground. He's calling vets out, y'all, and he's basically saying 3 refs, 3 judges, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. Come on, y'all. Come on. And Cool G Rap. I mean, you can't beat that. You know what? I gotta let y'all listen to what 38 Spesh says because he thinks he's the best. This should be an easy win for Jadakiss, right? Especially if he feels like he's better. Pay attention. Come better than everybody. Let's get to that. I respect that. Yeah. I want to ask you something else. Would you like to be on the same stage with Jim Jones or Jadakiss and y'all, you know what I'm saying, hash this out? Yeah, so check this, right? This is what I want to say right here, right? Check this. Jada want to do something, we ain't got to go back and forth, right? I got $500,000 on me right now. We could do 3 verses on the stage. You heard? Round for round, 3 verses, round for round. That's it. And we handle this like men in the ring. All of that back and forth shit. I got 500,000 on me. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cash, have Fat Joe put it up, nigga. You heard me? No, seriously. No, I respect that. I respect that. And that's how we can handle that. If not, then we ain't gotta go with the back and forth shit, throw shots on other niggas' records. Before tell him before he diss me on a song that again, but that he don't own. You know, we could go and put up some. Oh, you don't own it. And do this the right way. I gotta have a ticket on myself. But we could do this in the ring with no crowd because it's in a popularity contest. 3 judges. We could have G-Rap, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane as the judges. Woo, this shit all the way hip hop. I mean, what's really in that? What's really in that? Let me know, my nigga. What's really in that? You know what I'm saying? They can't say nothing. So they should stop bluffing. Because his hand is a royal flush right now. See, I ain't gonna lie to you. I like what the young man is doing. I like what Rochester's bringing to the table right now. Because you gotta ask yourself, most of us fans, we believe Jadakiss is better. Let's call it what it is, y'all. We believe Jadakiss is better than 38 Spesh. So wouldn't this be easy money for Jada? I'm just being honest, y'all. Do you think Jadakiss is going to accept? Is he going to accept what 38 Spesh is dishing out? At the end of the day, he's willing to put his money where his mouth is. See, it's been a lot of talk, a lot of speculation all inside the industry. Everybody's always coming out. Oh, nah, he can't beat no Jada. He's way better. Jada's way better than 38 Spesh. Well, this man is willing to put up $500,000. Yeah. 3 judges, old school judges. Yeah. You gotta love the Rakims. You gotta love the Big Daddy. Big up Rochester. The Coochie Rats. What are we talking about? This is competition. This is hip hop. This is what we want to see. Bring hip hop back. Make hip hop great again. This could most certainly turn hip hop upside down. Now, I know we're going to get a lot of y'all out there saying, oh, 38 Spesh ain't nobody. Why does Jadakiss have, yo, man, 500,000 is life changing money, period. And he's willing to put up his own money. I'm just saying. Now, we all know Kiss got 500. Yeah, we know Kiss got 500. So I would love to see it. I would love to see these 2 men jump in the ring and get it on. Like, it is what it is. This is the state of hip hop. Or is Jadakiss too high in the sky for the competition? Or does he have to not answer this man at all? Because to keep it real with you, Jadakiss is overly accomplished, right? Let's call it what it is. At this point, a lot of people are going to say he doesn't have to do anything. But I would love to see it. Hey, look, I don't know. Y'all get down in the comment section and let me know how y'all feel. It doesn't stop there, y'all, because we got to remember. Yeah, we got to remember. Shout out to the Terror Squad. But they might have made a few mistakes here, y'all. I got to be real. I got to keep it 10,000. When it comes to Fat Joe, that's it. Calling on the militia, calling on his crew, they put out snitch allegations on 38 Spesh. And to be all the way honest with y'all, man, hey, look, that was coming from Miami, right? Terror Squad affiliate, Terror Squad goon. At the end of the day, I got to play for y'all what was going on. And he said 24 hours, 38 spesh had. Pay attention. Just the round, whatever your name is, 38 spesh, whatever your name is, right? You got 24 hours. Let me know. So I won't remember this. You got 24 hours. You go 65 years behind the wall. You from the rock, aka Rochester, right? You got 24 hours to respond. They're not home. Let me know who Tyrone members is. He came back on the first sheet and he passed away. The stomach case behind the wall in the early 2000s. I don't even know who that is. You got 24 hours to respond, B. You heard? EXTS, you know the problem. Let me know when Tyrone members is. That's all I got to say, B. You got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are co-signed, okay? They are Terror Squad affiliates, okay? They've been around the Terror Squad. They are moving around the Terror Squad. They are putting out real strict allegations on 38 Spesh, and they're stamping it. He's standing on it. You heard? Tell me who Tyrone Members is. I am 38 Spesh. Hey, why he got 65 years in jail in the early 2000s? Y'all need to ask him that. The whole Rochester, aka the Rock, know the people from the era knows why Tyrone got 65 years. But I want 38 to tell us Big Bronx energy. He didn't stop there because the man even went outside to address 38 Spesh. Pay attention. 38 Spesh, right? About 24 hours to hit back, right? Tell me who Tyrone members is. Early 2000s, right? Tell me who Tyrone members is, right? He came back down on the first, right? He got in jail, stomach cancer, right? I want to know who that is. I want you to tell me who that is. That's 38. 38 Spesh, whatever your name is. You got 24 hours to let me know who that nigga is. I'm going to the next step. That man called 65 years behind the wall. Let me know who that nigga is, man. You know what I'm saying? He called 65 years from the Rock, aka Rochester, right? Let me know who that dude is. He called 65 years, man. He's not looking for when that's
Or 65 years and he died behind the wall.
Alright? So I'm gonna keep it all the way tall, y'all. Y'all know I'm gonna keep it real. I gotta keep it 10,000. I actually seen the paperwork, and it's not actually 38 Spesh's name. Okay, it's not his name. His name is Harold, but it's not his name. It's his cousin. See, I got people that get on the case too. When things like this come out, I got my own team that's going to look at the paperwork and scramble to find it. So at the end of the day, I gotta ask y'all, man, did Terror Squad make a mistake? Because 38 Spesh is actually
Big time.
his paperwork. Okay, he is speaking on this, and he's letting it be known it's fake. It ain't real. Pay attention to what 38 Spesh has to say, y'all, when it comes to Terror Squad basically resorting to putting out allegations on him of snitching. Pay attention. Alleged paperwork on you. How do you feel about this? Where do you think this is coming from?
Hey man, listen here, man. I'm just a hood legend that they can't really say nothing bad about. So you go through this shit when you're a type of nigga like me. Ain't no real paperwork with my name on it. I mean, if it was, right, I'm so hated that shit would have been. My name is my name. I can't change that. That's just public information. Man. You have to go Google my name 110 times, man. That don't say shit. Y'all know my name ain't connected to nothing foul. I smack rats. It's video footage of me smacking the shit out of a rat 15 times. He's really a rapper. He really was a rap nigga that was, you know, but come on, homie. Like, I did my time. See, you niggas ain't never, you be the niggas that call niggas rats, who never even been through nothing.
Never been through nothing.
They never even been in a situation where they had to rat or the nigga. Like, you talking to a nigga, bro, that's been investigated for plenty shits. It's not in an interrogation room, my nigga. It is documented how I walked out. You talking to a nigga that went and did time home. So how you feel about Miami? Because he's part of Fat Joe. I feel like I feel like it's corny.
I gotta keep it real, y'all. Hey, he has not released his paperwork just yet. He said 24 hours, right? My team is on it, right? And I gotta ask y'all, did Terror Squad make a mistake by putting this out there like that without clarifying the paperwork? I gotta be real because Miami put this out as him being a rat. Yeah, he's calling this man a rat all over social media. I got a play for y'all what my team is saying. Okay, the names don't match up. The first names don't match up, and it's from Rochester. I got the paperwork. I just felt it was irrelevant to put it up here. But let me put y'all on to what my guy is saying. The guy that actually goes and searches all of his paperwork, goes to all the websites, and finds anything he needs to find to make this accurate. Pay attention, y'all. Nah, that's not it, Brody. I reread that. Double checked that too. That's not it. That's his cousin though. His cousin name on there. When I looked at it, I read it over and shit. That's definitely not it. And truth be told, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think the son got paperwork. I don't. So my people don't even think the Terror Squad Miami even has proper paperwork. So therefore, it's fake paperwork. I don't think Son got paperwork that KR get because Son saying who got 65 years. Son, who's Son claiming the Tyrone numbers, Son died before he could even go to trial. You know what I mean? So I don't think he got anything. You know what I mean? Unless Son made statements, but none of those is public. I just ran through all the documents. None of those is publicly available on the Tyrone numbers case. You know what I mean? Son died in prison 2013 before he could even go upstate or before he could even go to trial. You know what I mean? So I don't know where the 65 years shit came from because Son never got sentenced. He died. That was my fault. I was reading in, trying to get you that information ASAP. So when I seen it and I tried to connect the dots, I ain't even read the name. I just seen the last name. Or I ain't read the first name. I seen the last name because that was majority what was shown on the paperwork. Just the last name. I'm like, all right, that's it. You know what I mean? From upstate, I already knew it was an older case. But nah, that's not it, Brody, and that's my fault. See, this is why you don't play the paperwork game. You understand? This is why you don't even go that far, my G. I gotta be real. So, see, and the problem here is when a dude puts false allegations on you or fake paperwork on you, there is no repercussions here, right? These guys are already millionaires. They're already up, right? So you can't come back and say, damn, Fat Joe, you got the militia on this man, but they were wrong. See, you can't even say that when it comes to certain shit. And at the end of the day, it can ruin a lot of stuff. That's why these guys should have never even went there. This is a competition of getting on the stage, somebody saying I'm better than you, and I believe I'm better than you, and I'm willing to put money up behind myself. But to tarnish somebody's life, just to tarnish somebody, I think Miami, I don't know, bro. Like, what are you doing here? What's going on? Right? And I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna preserve I'm gonna preserve my opinion until we actually see this paperwork because 38 spesh, he's not stopping. As we see, he wants to get it on. You heard? He's offering $500,000 to Jadakiss to get in the ring and prove to him he's better than him. Hey, it should be easy money for Kiss. This should be easy money. It should be no reason why Kiss say no. I'm just keeping it real. And when it comes to the snitch allegations, man, we shouldn't have even made it this far. You're tarnishing each other for real. Like, we shouldn't even went this deep. But now, what is the repercussions? Nothing. These guys are going to continue to live life and do what they do. But hey, look, I don't make the news. I just break the news down. And y'all get down in my comment section and let me know. Is Terror Squad out of pocket for not producing the right paperwork, or if it is fake or whatever's going on, if it is his cousin, because I'm going to go off what my homie is telling me. I'm going to go off what my reliable source is telling me when it comes to this whole situation. But hey, look, get in the comments, yo, it's your boy E-Oil, aka the Harlem Legend, man. Get down in the comment section, let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Did it go too far? And 38 spesh issuing $500,000. Yeah, Kiss, let's get on the stage. Should Kiss accept the challenge, or is Kiss a little bit too bigger than this? Right? Is Kiss a little bit, far gone and don't have to respond to this? All this is the hottest topic on the internet right now. Yeah, I gotta be real. This is the hottest topic on the internet. I think Kiss should have said, because I think it'll be very easy to impress rappers like Coogee Rap, rappers like Rakim, rappers like Big Daddy Kane that already love and adore Jadakiss, right? And I think he can't do no wrong with that stage. At the end of the day, I want to see what he can do. And when it comes to Fat Joe and these guys releasing that paperwork, Terror Squad, he made a big mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta be real, but hey, who am I? Get down in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you set your bell notifications so you know when I'm dropping a video or going live. It will only get worse from here, y'all. Salute.
You come better than everybody.
Yeah, let me fix it. I respect that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something else. Would you like to be on the same stage with Jim Jones or Jadakiss and y'all, hash this out?
Yeah, so check this, right? This is what I want to say right here, right? Check this. Jada want to do something, we ain't got to go back and forth, right? I got $500,000 on me right now. We could do 3 verses on the stage, round for round, 3 verses, round for round. That's it. And we handle this like, man, in the ring. All of that back and forth shit. I got 500,000 on me. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cash, have Fat Joe put it up.
So instead of them responding, they go, yo, Davies, take him off the album. Yo, Joe Budden. Yo, I don't know. Bill probably did it himself. So let's blackball him. All this other shit. I mean, it's kind of goofy, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Check this.
I think Jay Warren talked to him about this track, said that was ass. I want him to know if he'll never like another song of mine, my nigga, just remember me as the nigga that smoked your pops. Be that nigga that smoked your father, bro. That left your father on the track that you have to admit to. So you could say all my shit ass. That's just saying the nigga who shit ass smoked your father. I think Jay Warren talked to him about this track, said that was ass. I want him to know if he'll never like another song of mine, my nigga, just remember me as the nigga that smoked your pops. So always be that nigga that smoked your father, bro. That left your father on the track that you have to admit to. So you could say all my shit ass. That's just saying the nigga who shit ass smoked your father. I see Jay Warren talking
Stop
about
capping.
this track.
J1. But now, we're waiting. It's been like 72 hours down there. No one said nothing, man. Think this battle's gonna happen or no? Fuck.
I don't think
Pretty
so.
sure it's been like 72 hours.
Yeah, it's been
Nobody
a little
produced,
bit still, so I don't
nobody
know.
produced no paperwork. Don't know
Yeah,
what's going on, man. You know what I mean? I was talking all that shit. And we can't hear nothing. Well, yo,
Get on the boat.
what you think about the whole Fauci hearing?
I begin by asking you now.
They got him, the Supreme Court, the Senate, asking him questions and shit like that. But I'm like, what's the point of doing that if you already got a pardon? So he kept pleading the fifth. I mean, COVID-19 was a real psyop. And I feel like
We begin by asking unanimous consent.
he's a big player in the whole scheme of things, you know?
What
Right.
exactly about who had
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Uh,
the same healthcare?
I think it's all smoke and mirrors, man. They do that just to make it seem like they're actually doing something, but in all
Inside
actuality,
Fauci's private diary.
they ain't doing nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was in it. They're
We begin
all
by asking unanimous.
a part of the grand scheme of things. So it's like they're just using him as a scapegoat or as a face to it. But ultimately,
True.
everybody was in on it. So
True.
it is what it is, you know.
Biden gave him a pardon before he left.
Right, of
Left
course.
office.
Of course. They were all in on it, man.
So, it makes you think, you know? But
Yeah.
let's check some of these media appearances he had during the pandemic, and we'll see what exactly he was lying about.
Consent to insert into the record documents showed CIA transferred funds to NIAID through interagency agreement. Hearing no objection, so ordered. We had hoped to hear testimony from Anthony Fauci today. We haven't, but I think it's important that we do hear from him. So we will have a video we'll play in a moment. For years, Anthony Fauci has been the public face of saying this in all likelihood came from nature. He kept saying, it's the marketplace, it's the marketplace, it's the marketplace. He's been saying that on television up until recently. But what we find is that what he was saying in public is different than what he was saying in private. In January, in private, he wrote that looks like the wet market was a super spreader event. It didn't originate there. We know that some of the earliest deaths and sickness came from somewhere else. But then for years and years, we got dishonesty. So let's play the video so we can see a little juxtaposition of the problem we're dealing with. Fauci's journal entries contradict what he said publicly about the origins of COVID-19. Fauci admitted in January 2020 that the initial outbreak of COVID did not occur at a wet market. Take a really good look at the animal-human interface and the fact that animals from the wild are being brought into wet markets who have animals that come out of the wild that are sold at these open, what they call them wet markets. Wet markets, where you bring animals in from the wild who have these viruses. The wet markets in Asia, where people bring animals from the forest into market. There are wet markets in Wuhan that are ample opportunity for a virus to jump from an animal. The origin was from a bat to an intermediate host to a human, very likely in a wet market, and those animals should not have been in the Wuhan market. They knew that those animals should not have been in the market, and they immediately cleaned out the market, put restrictions on the kinds of animals that come into these wet markets. I think they should shut down those things right away. I mean, it boggles my mind. So vividly saying in public something different to what he believed in private. Now, this is interesting because, the first SARS outbreak in 2000, 2003 was traced to a wet market, to animals there. But interestingly, they had evidence. They had evidence that the animals had the disease. They also had evidence that the handlers had a disproportionately high number of antibodies to the disease. So there was evidence, and the evidence was presented. So when this came out, the same thing happened again. They did look at the wet market. They looked at the wet market and tested, I think, 80,000 animals and didn't find any animals that had COVID-19. When they did find COVID-19 and trace samples there, they found that the DNA or the RNA was consistent with human spread. This was known not later on, didn't take years to develop, was known in January of 2020. And so Dr. Fauci says privately he knows it didn't come from the web market, but as you saw, those were over a multi-year period. One of the discussions I've had with Dr. Fauci over the years about natural immunity. So most infections, you get a degree of immunity, not perfect, some fairly perfect. Smallpox, you just don't get again. George Washington knew this. He had his wife get vaccinated, but he didn't because he'd already had smallpox. But there's one particular story that a man came up to me and lost his wife to COVID. He said, we all got it. We all got sick. And my wife ended up getting sick enough to go to the hospital. But we'd recovered 2 weeks. She was still alive. 2 to 3 weeks later, we'd all recovered. They wouldn't let us be with her. And to this day, it's one of the saddest things. And it just, I think all of us should think about this. They were not allowed to visit their mom. He wasn't allowed to visit his wife in the hospital. But based on this misunderstanding of natural immunity, that for some reason, 2 weeks later, they were a problem. But this was all promulgated by you. We had the workers in the meat factories. They were essential. They had to keep working. Most of them got COVID. They got it in the first couple of weeks. Most of them were younger. The reassurance should have come from public health. The reassurance should have said, congratulations, you've recovered. It also should be acknowledged. What's the number one thing we can do if we get another pandemic? Before we have a vaccine, before we have monoclonal antibodies, it would be to utilize natural immunity. So instead of the advice you were giving to Cuomo and others in New York that led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people or tens of thousands of people, you could have been saying, well, maybe the nurses taking care of the elderly should be people who are 2 weeks out from COVID infection. We could have used natural immunity as somewhat of a block of protection. Imperfect, but the only protection we had and the only thing we could have done. Instead, the nursing homes were seated with people who had COVID. So I think the discussion of natural immunity is one where there wasn't sufficient honesty, humility, there wasn't enough presentation to encourage people. That was the only encouraging thing we had for a while is you've got it. You're very, very, if not impossible, close to impossible chance that you'll die if you get it again. Everybody could have been reassured. Nobody was reassured. It's like, well, we don't know. We just don't quite understand natural immunity. My favorite quote from that is from Martin Kulldorff from Harvard. You called him one of the people he had to take down, the fringe epidemiologist, which I've never ever heard scientists call another scientist that. But he jokingly said on Twitter, he said, yeah, we knew about natural immunity from 486 BC, from the time of the Athenian plague. We lost all knowledge of it in 2020. The good news is it's slowly coming back. 24 to 2025, we're beginning to understand what natural immunity is again. Not something perfect, but a useful tool that could have been used, but also something that could have helped people by telling the public, my goodness, you're not going to die now. You have a chance. If you've already had it and you're 85 years old, you're at risk for it, you're wanting to feed your wife, they're telling you to wear 4 masks and not be around your wife when you've already had it. It made no sense. I visited with a man whose mom was 83 and she was dying from COVID. They go to the hospital in Orange County. They won't admit her to the hospital till she's vaccinated because we have a policy that everybody in the hospital must be vaccinated. She's got COVID and they wanted to vaccinate her again. At one point in time, the CDC understood this. They told people, don't get vaccinated if you've had COVID within 3 months. Why? Because it may give you a heightened immune response when you've already got a heightened immune response. But giving a person very sick, the main people who died from COVID died from sort of this storm of response, this immune storm The answer wouldn't be try to stir up their immune response more by giving them a vaccine. The answer was actually steroids. And good old fashioned steroids, 37% reduction in death. But it turned out to be way more valuable than remdesivir, way more valuable than any other treatments. But I don't remember ever hearing a complimentary word on natural immunity or steroids or anything else. And, you know, I wish we could have done more today. I would have been willing to accept an apology today. I'm sorry I made mistakes. We all made mistakes. And, you know, at the time, I thought the gain of function research was, you know, the risks of it were worth the benefits. But I've reassessed since 15 million people died. People say, well, gosh, these things never happened. We know it happened in 1977. We know with 100% certainty a virus escaped. In 1977, there's something called the Russian flu. Nobody's exactly positive how it got out. But when they sequenced it, they found out that a flu in 1977 had exactly the same RNA as the 1954 one that they had in the lab and they created a vaccine for. In fact, turns out anybody born before 1954 was immune, and the only people who got it were people who were born between 1954 and 1977. But it was identical. The genetic sequence was identical to this vaccine or the virus from 1954, and that doesn't happen because these respiratory viruses are always mutating. To be identical means it had to have leaked from the lab, proof positive that it had. So we know this happens. An author by the name of Young wrote a book and said there was 1,200 cases of significant accidents that occurred. We knew all of this, and yet it was completely discounted because I think you were worried that if it was seen you funded dangerous research to start the pandemic, you'd get blamed. And it was a concerted effort. It wasn't just you. Anybody associated with the funding decided we needed to protect ourselves. The COVID-19 pandemic was one of the most consequential events of our lifetime. And to this day, the American people have never received a full accounting of where it came from, what our government knew, and why they had to fight their own government to find out. Today,
You see that shit, bro?
Yeah.
Natural immunity. And they were trying to hate on people that didn't have it, blah, blah, blah. Calling us, you know, all types of craziness. It's crazy, bro. The divided republic is some shit that they created in a lab.
Right. Nah, it's just it just goes
Sick.
to show you that ultimately you can't really trust them. Can't trust it. You know?
Hell no.
It's like they'll go to all kind of crazy lengths to push whatever narrative they're trying to push, knowing that it's all false. Well, nah, yeah, can't oblige by no system, nothing.
And then he's pleading the fifth because his lawyers told him to. And you see some bullshit? He's like, oh, I'm pleading the fifth.
It's beyond crazy, man.
Because you don't want to get caught in none of your lies. That's why.
Exactly.
And that's why these guys get out scot free. Because their policy is when nobody talks, everybody walks. Okay, so shit. Well, check this one right here. Ron Paul.
Dr.
This is
Fauci, in a recent British study, David
Which one is that?
Wild found that no symptomatic
Senator Ron Paul versus
from COVID-19 after following
Dr.
28
Fauci.
patients for several months.
Okay.
In fact, there have been no reports of significant numbers of reinfections after acquiring COVID-19 naturally. Shane Crotty, a virologist at La Jolla Institute of Immunology, concludes from his experiments that the amount of immune memory gained from natural infection would likely prevent the vast majority of people from getting hospitalized disease, severe disease for many years. In this study, which was published in Science, Dr. Crotty showed that antibody levels stayed relatively constant with only modest declines over 6 to 8 months. Dr. Crotty reported that notably memory B cells specific for the spike protein or RBD were detected in almost all COVID-19 cases with no apparent half-life at 5 to 8 months after infection. In other words, Dr. Crotty found significant evidence of long-term immunity after COVID infection. Furthermore, Dr. Crotty noted B-cell memory to some other infections has been observed for as long as 60 plus years after smallpox vaccination, for even 90 years after a natural infection with influenza. That was a woman who got the Spanish flu, still showed immunity 90 years later. So rather than being pessimistic towards people gaining immunity after they've had COVID or had a vaccine, studies argue for significant optimism. In fact, there have been no scientific studies arguing or proving that infection with COVID does not create immunity. There have been no studies showing significant numbers of reinfections. Of the 30 million Americans who have had COVID, only a handful of reinfections have been discovered. In fact, the New York Times reported last fall more than 38 million people at the time worldwide had been infected with the coronavirus, and as of that date, fewer than 5 of these cases had been confirmed by scientists to be reinfections. Scientists interviewed for the article concluded, in most cases, a second bout with the virus produced milder symptoms or none at all. Given that no scientific studies have shown significant numbers of reinfections of patients previously infected or previously vaccinated, what specific studies do you cite to argue that the public should be wearing masks well into 2022? I'm not sure I understand the connection of what you're saying about masks and reinfection. We're talking about people who have never been infected before. You're telling everybody to wear masks, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. What studies do you have that people who have had the vaccine or have had the infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater? No, it's not a vaccine, and you're wearing 2 masks. Isn't that theater? No, that's not. Here we go again with the theater. Let's get down to the facts. Okay, the studies that you quote from Crotty and Sete look at in vitro examination of memory immunity, which in their paper they specifically say this does not necessarily pertain to the actual protection. It's in vitro. And what study can you point to that shows significant reinfection? There are no studies that show. Let me finish the response to your question, if you please. The other thing is that when you talk about reinfection and you don't keep in the concept of variants, that's an entirely different ballgame. That's a good reason for a mask. In the South African study conducted by J&J, they found that people who were infected with wild type and were exposed to the variant in South Africa, the 351, it was as if they had never been infected before. They had no protection. So when you talk about reinfection, you've got to make sure you're talking about wild type. I agree with you that you very likely would have protection from wild type for at least 6 months if you're infected. But we in our country now have variants that are circulating. Significant reinfection. What study shows significant reinfection, hospitalization, and death after either natural infection or the vaccine? It doesn't exist. There is no evidence that there are significant reinfections after vaccine. In fact, I don't think we have a hospitalization in the United States after the 2-week period after the second vaccination. Yeah, you have a death in the United States. You're not hearing what I'm saying about variants. We're talking about wild type versus variants.
And
Now,
what proof is there that there are significant reinfections with hospitalizations and death from the variants? None in our country. Zero.
well, because we don't have a prevalent of a variant yet. We're having one. Can I finish? We're having 117 that's becoming more dominant.
Policy based on conjecture.
No,
It
isn't based on conjecture.
variants. So you want people to wear a mask for another couple of years.
No.
You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show.
No.
You can't get it again. There's virtually 0% chance you're going to get it. And yet you're telling people that have had the vaccine, who have immunity. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear masks who've been vaccinated. Instead, you should be saying there is no science to say we're going to have a problem from the large number of people who've been vaccinated. You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Don't they quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine? You want people to get the vaccine? Give them a reward instead of telling them that the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it. There's no science behind it.
Well, let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we have
immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others. You're not wearing a mask because of any symptom.
I totally disagree with you.
Dr. Fauci, if you could respond so that we could understand the difference between the virus itself and the variants and the reason for a mask.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't.
If you could respond to the question so that we could all understand the difference between the vaccine in controlling the wild type versus the variants that are out there and the reason for wearing a mask, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, yes. First of all, when you have a variant, you have an immunity that you get with convalescent sera and the same sort of thing. If I vaccinate you or me against the wild type, you get a certain level of antibody that's specific for a particular viral strain. If there's a circulating variant, you don't necessarily have it. You have some spillover immunity to be sure, but you diminish by anywhere from 2 to 8-fold the protection. So the point I'm saying is that there are variants in now circulating. The point that Senator Paul was making was that if you look at wild type only, there is some clear-cut credence to what he's saying. But we are living right now in a situation where we're having a dominance of 117, which was the original UK. We have a very troublesome variant in New York City, the 526. We've got 2 variants in California, a 427, 429, and we have a number of others. So we're not dealing with a static situation of the same virus. That was the only point I'm making.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Senator Murphy.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Dr. Fauci, thank you for setting an example over the course of the last year for Americans. You've made it clear that masks save lives.
Dr. Fauci, we don't know whether the pandemic started in a lab in Wuhan or evolved naturally, but we should want to know. 3 million people have died from this pandemic, and that should cause us to explore all possibilities. Instead, government authorities, self-interested in continuing gain-of-function research, say there's nothing to see here. Gain-of-function research, as you know, is juicing up naturally occurring animal viruses to infect humans. To arrive at the truth, the U.S. government should admit that the Wuhan Virology Institute was experimenting to enhance the coronavirus's ability to infect humans. Juicing up superviruses is not new. Scientists in the U.S. have long known how to mutate animal viruses to infect humans. For years, Dr. Ralph Barrick, a virologist in the U.S., has been collaborating with Dr. Shi Zhengli of the Wuhan Virology Institute, sharing his discoveries about how to create superviruses. This gain-of-function research has been funded by the NIH. The collaboration between the U.S. and the Wuhan Virology Institute continues. Doctors Barrick and Shi work together to insert bat virus spike protein into the backbone of the deadly SARS virus, and then use this man-made supervirus to infect human airway cells. Think about that for a moment. The SARS virus had a 15% mortality. We're fighting a pandemic that has about a 1% mortality. Can you imagine if a SARS virus that's been juiced up and had viral proteins added to it, to the spike protein, if that were released accidentally? Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan.
Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute.
Do they fund Dr. Barrett?
We do not fund.
You fund Dr. Barrett's gain of function research?
Dr. Barrett does not do gain of function research, and if it is, it's according to the guidelines, and it is being conducted in North Carolina.
You don't think inserting a bat virus spike protein that he got from the Wuhan Institute into the SARS virus is gain of function?
That is not
a minority, because at least 200 scientists have signed a statement from the Cambridge Working Group saying that it is gain of function.
Well, it is not. And if you look at the grant and you look at the progress reports, it is not gain of function, despite the fact that people tweet that.
So do you still support sending money to the Wuhan Virology Institute?
We do not send money now to Wuhan Virology.
Support sending money. We did under your tutelage. We were sending it through EcoHealth. It was a sub-agency and a sub-grant. Do you support the money from NIH that was going to the Wuhan Institute?
Let me explain to you why that was done. The SARS-CoV-1 originated in bats in China. It would have been irresponsible of us if we did not investigate the bat viruses and the serology to see who might have been
affected. Or perhaps it would be
China
to send it to the Chinese government that we may not be able to trust with this knowledge and with this incredibly dangerous viruses. Government scientists like yourself who favor gain of function research.
I don't favor gain of function research in China. You're saying things that are not correct.
Government defenders of gain of function, such as yourself, say that COVID-19 mutations were random and not designed by man. But interestingly, the technique that Dr. Barrett developed forces mutations by serial passage through cell culture that the mutations appear to be natural. In fact, Dr. Barrett named the technique the no-see-em technique because the mutations appear naturally. Nicholas Baker in the New York Magazine said nobody would know if the virus had been fabricated in a laboratory or grown in nature. Government authorities in the U.S., including yourself, unequivocally deny that COVID-19 could have escaped a lab. But even Dr. Shi in Wuhan wasn't so sure. According to Nicholas Baker, Dr. Shi wondered, could this new virus have come from her own laboratory? She checked her records frantically and found no matches. That really took a load off my mind, she said. I had not slept for days. The director of the gain of function research in Wuhan couldn't sleep because she was terrified that it might be in her lab. Dr. Barrett, an advocate of gain of function research, admits the main problem that the Institute of Virology has is the outbreak occurred in close proximity. What are the odds? Barrett responded, could you rule out a laboratory escape? The answer in this case is probably not. Will you, in front of this group, categorically say that the COVID-19 could not have occurred through serial passage in a laboratory?
I do not have any accounting of what the Chinese may have done, and I'm fully in favor of any further investigation of what went on in China. However, I will repeat again, the NIH and NIAID categorically has not funded gain of function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
You support it in the U.S. We have 11 labs doing it, and you have allowed it here. We have a committee to do it, but the committee has granted every exemption. You're fooling with Mother Nature here. You're allowing super viruses to be created with a 15% mortality. It's very dangerous. I think it was a huge mistake to share this with China, and it's a huge mistake to allow this to continue in the United States. And we should be very careful to investigate where this virus came from.
I fully agree that you should investigate where the virus came from. But again, we have not funded gain of function research on this virus in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, no matter how
parsing words, you're parsing words. There was research. There was research done with Dr. Shi and Dr. Barrett. They have collaborated on gain of function research where they enhanced the SARS virus to infect human airway cells And they did it by merging a new spike protein on it. That is gain of function. That was joint research between the Wuhan Institute and Dr. Barrett. You can't deny it.
Senator Paul, your time has expired. Dr. Fauci, I will let you respond to that when we need to move on.
Excuse me?
I will allow you to respond to that, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say, I don't know how many times I can say it, Madam Chair. We did not fund gain of function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Thank you. Senator Smith.
Dr. Fauci, as you are aware, it is a crime to lie to Congress. Section 1001 of the U.S. Criminal Code creates a felony and a 5-year penalty for lying to Congress. On your last trip to our committee on May 11th, you stated that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And yet, gain of function research was done entirely in the Wuhan Institute by Dr. Shi and was funded by the NIH. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to insert into the record the Wuhan virology paper entitled Discovery of a Rich Gene Pool of Bat SARS-Related Coronaviruses. Please deliver a copy of the journal article to Dr. Fauci. In this paper, Dr. Shi credits the NIH and lists the actual number of the grant that she was given by the NIH. In this paper, she took 2 bat coronavirus genes, spike genes, and combined them with a SARS-related backbone to create new viruses that are not found in nature. These lab-created viruses were then shown to replicate in humans. These experiments combine genetic information from different coronaviruses that infect animals, but not humans, to create novel artificial viruses able to infect human cells. Viruses that in nature only infect animals were manipulated in the Wuhan lab to gain the function of infecting humans. This research fits the definition of the research that the NIH said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. But the NIH failed to recognize this, defines it away, and it never came under any scrutiny. Dr. Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist from Rutgers, described this research in Wuhan as the Wuhan lab used NIH funding to construct novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses able to infect human cells and laboratory animals. This is high-risk research that creates new potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature. This research matches, these are Dr. E. Bright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain of function research done entirely in Wuhan, for which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain of function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you're referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH gain of function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among animals is gain of function. They took animal viruses that only occur in animals and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's let some Dr. Fauci.
I have to, well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2, That's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Wait a
It
minute.
did come from the lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab.
You-
And there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally
This committee
resent.
will allow the witness to.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator, because if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature, it is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
No
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain of function research was going on in that lab and NIH funded it.
That is
Can't
not.
get away from it. It meets your definition and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You're the
Paul's
one.
time is expired, but I will allow the witness to.
Let me just finish. I want everyone to understand that if you look at those viruses, and that's judged by qualified virologists and evolutionary biologists, those viruses are molecularly impossible
No one's
to
saying
result
they are. No
in
one's saying those viruses
SARS-CoV-2.
caused the pandemic.
Senator Paul,
We're saying they are gain of function viruses because they were
They're not.
animal viruses that became more transmissible in human, and you funded it.
And you
Admit the truth.
implying.
Paul, your time has expired, and I will allow witnesses who come before this committee.
Again, with you steadfast in your denials. Why does it matter? Because gain of function research with laboratory created viruses not found in nature could cause a pandemic even worse the next time. We're suffering today from one that has a mortality of approximately 1%. They're experimenting with viruses that have mortalities of between 15 and 50%. Yes, our civilization could be at risk from one of these viruses. Experiments that combine unknown viruses with known pandemic-causing viruses are incredibly risky. Experiments that combine unknown viruses with coronaviruses that have as much as 50% mortality could endanger civilization as we know it. And here you sit, unwilling to accept any responsibility for the current pandemic and unwilling to take any steps to prevent gain-of-function research from possibly unleashing an even more deadly virus. You mislead the public by saying that the published viruses could not be COVID. Well, exactly no one is alleging that. No one is alleging that the published viruses by the Chinese are COVID. What we are saying is that this was risky type of research, gain of function research. It was risky to share this with the Chinese, and that COVID may have been created from a not yet revealed virus. We don't anticipate the Chinese are going to reveal the virus if it came from their labs. You know that, but you continue to mislead. You continue to support NIH money going to Wuhan. You continue to say you trust the Chinese scientists. You appear to have learned nothing from this pandemic. Will you today finally take some responsibility for funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator, with all due respect, I disagree with so many of the things that you've said. First of all, gain of function is a very nebulous term. We have spent, not us, but outside bodies, a considerable amount of effort to give a more precise definition to the type of research that is of concern that might lead to a dangerous situation. You are aware of that. That is called P3CO.
We're aware that you deleted gain of function from the NIH website.
Well, I can get back to that in a moment if we have time, but let's get
Risky? We're not going to get anywhere. You have to admit that this research was risky. The NIH has now rebuked them. Your own agency has rebuked them. But the thing is you're still unwilling to admit that they gained in function when they say they became sicker. They gained in lethality. It's a new virus. That's not gain of function?
according to the definition that is currently operable. You know, Senator, let's make it clear for the people who are listening. The current definition was done over a 2 to 3 year period by outside bodies, including the NSABB, 2 conferences by the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine on December 2014, March 2016. We commissioned external risk-benefit assessment, and then on January of 2017, the Office of Science and Technology Policy of the White House issued the the current policy.
And coincidentally,
I have not
coincidentally,
seen
definition
any
appeared
definition.
on the same day the NIH said that yes, there was a gain of function in Wuhan. The same day the definition appeared, the new definition to try to define away what's going on in Wuhan. Until you accept it, until you accept responsibility, we're not going to get anywhere close to trying to prevent another lab leak of this dangerous sort of experiment. You won't admit that it's dangerous. And for that lack of judgment, I think it's time that you resign.
Thank you, Senator Paul. And I would like to give the time to Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, well, there were so many things that are egregious misrepresentation here, Madam Chair, that I don't think I'd be able to refute all of them, but just a couple of them for the listeners to hear for. You have said that I'm unwilling to take any responsibility for the current pandemic. I have no responsibility for the current pandemic. The current pandemic. Okay. Number two, you said the overwhelming amount of evidence indicates that's a lab leak. I believe most card carrying viral phylogenists and molecular virologists would disagree with you that is much more likely, even though we leave open all possibilities, it's much more likely that this was a natural occurrence. Third, you say we
We've
can
tested 80,000 animals and no animals have been found with COVID.
Senator Paul, the time is set first.
And third, you made a statement just a moment ago that's completely incorrect, where you say we continue to support research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
You proved it in August of last year.
No, your statement says, quote, I wrote it down as you were writing. You continue to support research at the Wuhan Institute of
We were in
Virology.
committee a month ago, which
Which
said you still trust the Chinese scientists and you still support the research over there. You said it a month ago in
Senator
committee.
Paul, I have allowed Dr. Fauci to respond. You've had your time. I'm going to give him.
He's going to be dishonest. He ought to be challenged.
Senator Paul, we will allow Dr. Fauci to respond after you've given accusations like that. Dr. Fauci.
Well, I don't have any more to say except to say that, as usual, and I have a great deal of respect for this body of the Senate, and it makes me very uncomfortable to have to say something, but he is egregiously incorrect in what he says. Thank you.
History will figure that out on its own.
So we will turn to Senator Hassan. Thank you. Senator-
Yeah.
So can you run that video now?
So that right there shows you he's a great deflector. You know? You know those ones? The great deflectors? You can say anything.
Welcome back for COVID.
All you gotta do is deflect, deny.
Wow. But then again,
Well, I feel like
It's fine if you help us every.
it's inevitable that down the line, 20 years down the line, we're gonna look back.
Sure.
They're gonna say something else came out of this pandemic that we didn't see or catch. And something else to don't put up. Every couple of years, it's the same song. So instead of pleading the fifth, why not just not go to these hearings? Because it's pretty much just doing it to clout chase. And as a doctor or whatever the case may be, virologist, you shouldn't be out here cloud chasing because you're down there. Anyway. I mean, not say nothing too crazy, but I just feel like you can't revered as a hero. So what can you be revered as? A doctor that did his best, I guess. But if he gonna deny everything, plead the fifth, get pardoned, that's, I'm above the law type shit. It really makes you think.
Welcome the
Who can we hold accountable when everything happens?
I certainly
So, in other news, Cameron said he ain't African. I I kind of agree because do white people say that? Oh, I'm European. I'm European American. Nope. They wouldn't say that. Nope. So, as they're not European and they're white people in America, we don't call them as such. I believe Cameron has the right to say he's not African.
from Africa in the
And here's why he said it. Fair use.
you have African heritage, though. You have African bloodlines.
I'm not African. I'm not African. No, they're not like that. They say we Yankees. Yeah, I'm like, no, no. Just tell me how I go.
What's wrong with being African?
Ain't nothing wrong with being African. It's just that I'm not African. I was born in America. My mother's from Atlantic City.
So your bloodline, are you black?
Yeah, black.
Black what? You just black.
I'm a black man. I'm black man. It's black. All over the world, does that mean they're African? It's black. It's black Cubans. It's black everywhere. That don't mean that they African because it's black. Black don't mean African.
But we're from Africa. It's the land of the black.
I'm not African. That's what. Shout to my African. I'm not African. I'm not African.
So,
I'm not African.
that's how I feel. If you ain't African, why say you're African? I mean, I get it. We all from the motherland. But truth be told, Americans are Americans. People in the hotel unidentified. And we shouldn't harp on it because it's some bullshit. But this is what her brother had to say.
Hey, what's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again with another video from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. I actually want to come to you with another video, man, talking about how Cameron says we not African, and he's absolutely right. Now, there was a segment recently where Cameron told this guy to go up on the podcast. He was like, "Look, man, I'm not African, yo. I'm American." And the guy was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Africans don't even fuck with us like that." And guess what? Cameron is right. Cameron said this about a year ago. And the guy was like, "Africa is the mom, it's the motherland of the black man." Cameron was like, "Look, man, shout out to my Africans, but I'm not African. I'm American." Guess what? Cameron is right. Why is it that the minute that we want to say that we are American and not African American, everybody want to get upset? They want to say Africa is the motherland of the black man. Africa is the motherland of this thing. My thing is this, that Africa is the motherland of the black man. How come Africa is still under colonial rule in slavery in a lot of those parts? If that was the case, that Africa was the motherland, why are Africans running over here all the time to leave their motherland? Why are they always running over here from the motherland? If that was the motherland, how come we aren't over there building it up, making it into a motherland like this one? No, it is not. Africa is not the motherland. America is. If Africa was the motherland, why are Africans always running away from Africa to come over here? Why the Africans want to cosplay us? Why the Africans want to be tendering to us? Why the Africans want to do everything of what we're doing? You feel me? Because if we was African, why did Africans come over here telling us that we were not African? We are American. Now that we want to say that we're American, now they want to demand it. Say, why don't you guys want to say we from Africa? You one of us. We are the same. No, we are not. No, we are not. Can't run this right, yo. When we go over there to Africa, yo, we are foreigners, yo. When we play in the Olympics, guess what? When we play in the Olympics, if we got that American flag or that banner, as we may say, they don't call them white Americans or black Americans or European Americans or African Americans. They call us what? Americans. That is exactly what they call us. Americans. When we go around the world, we are Americans. On our passport and our driver's license, what is it going to say? American. So why do we have to put it on the damn census? Why we gotta try to clarify that with some damn Africans who not even from here, who don't even know us, got no connection. We never met any Africans doing family reunions or none of that stuff. No, we are not from there. And it ain't no disrespect to Africa. We have recognized that we from here. Cameron is 100% right. We American. He's from Harlem. He wasn't born in Africa. Just like I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. Cameron was born in Harlem, New York. You feel me? And the guy was like, "You got African DNA." How do we got African DNA when they can't even trace back our DNA to Africa? They found the brother in South Carolina, Albert Curry, many years ago. Bloodline did not trace to Africa. Just like when they come to Henrietta Lacks. May she rest in peace as well. She's from Baltimore like me. And guess what? Her DNA traced all the way back over here. Think about it. It doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't make any sense that we the only ones. We always gotta clarify who we are, where we from. And then the Africans will ask, "Where you really from?" Here. I'm really from over here. I did not come from over there. I did not migrate over there. I did not migrate from over here. I did not come from over there. My birth certificate is not from there. We look different. We act different. Soul is different. So I agree with Cameron, Mr. Boots is Boots, and I get confused, people. You feel me? Cameron is right. And what Cameron need to keep doing, telling them we ain't African, we American. Yeah, Cameron, tell them we Americans and we get the boosting on that. You feel me? We gonna be boosting, and we American. We American. We get American boosting. Yes, let's get our nationality. It's American boosting. You feel me? Get the boosted. Our nationality cruising. You feel me? Let's get that. So, Cameron, I agree with you. You feel what I mean? We are not African, we American. Keep it up, man. Peace.
Camron, um,
in our politics. How about I say that? Before then, we had Black American mayors, Black American Congress members, like totally Black Americans. I'm just saying that I saw the shift. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. How about me, girl? Just say I saw the difference. The difference in like who you came to, who you actually got stuff done for, and all that other stuff. So let's just I know this nigga do not got I love DEI shirt on. Like who does DEI really benefits? Like that's I'm gonna pull up a chart or something to show exactly who DEI benefited and show you how just like stop being a shill. It's annoying. All right, let's start.
Cameron saying he's not an African and Africa stinks.
He didn't say that African states. His boy said that African states. He went to Africa. Like, brother, did you go to Africa? I'm wondering, like, because everybody talk about this African shit. Ain't never stepped foot on the mother. Like, I'm be real. I ain't never stepped foot on the mother. I'd love to go to Africa. See what's up. Africa got some fun money. You know what I mean? I know that first of all, the truth be told, you don't need the Africans in the continent. The ones over here. Like the ones on the continent, they like not understand. How about for the team this one? The reason why Black Americans feel this way is because this is our land. And we see you are constantly trying to take us away from our land. So when we see something don't smell right, and something just seems like it's off, it's not just one of us feel this way, we all feel this way. If there's a punch, we all feel that punch because this is our land. That's the same thing that will go on if you were to Kenya or South Africa. I'm talking about South Africa, we don't know there. Like if something don't feel right, something don't smell right, the people of that land feels it. The only reason why y'all don't feel it is because they just ain't your land. Like, I'm just being real. Like, this is not me. Like, oh no, this is not your country. Like, no, this is your country now. You pledge allegiance to America and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, we'll not take that away from you. But this land is not yours. You're not going to feel this land. Your people is literally the red clay that's our blood. Take your ass to South Carolina and start seeing that red clay up in the South. Keep going, you shit. That's us. But I digress. Let's continue. I cut that shit short. Yeah.
See what the African told me people say? Obviously, this is ridiculously disrespectful and ignorant, but
I'm sorry, I got to cut it off. Look, it's disrespectful because you adapted to something different. Let's be real. In our culture, we wear deodorant and cologne and a whole bunch of other stuff. And a lot of people's culture that might be tribalism or whatever, let's be real. All of Africa is not modernized. So everybody probably don't have access to go home and deodorant. A lot of people believe in their own natural musk, but it turns to natural must. You know what I'm saying? To us, that shit ain't no more. You gonna get cracked. They definitely gonna get on your ass. You come up there smell a mustache. So yeah, disrespectful for being truthful. I don't know what part of Africa he was at. He was part in the mustard part. I'm just I can say all Africa must be. I'm just saying that negative part that he probably was at was probably mustard. Yeah. I'm gonna say let's just change.
Love. So let's approach this empirically. Well, we have a history of the name Cameron Giles. Giles is a medieval French name originally used by the followers of a one Saint Giles. Negative.
Okay, so yeah, we do have French slave owners. So you know, the Louisiana Purchase. So that big ass land mass. Yeah. You know what they were speaking? French. You know what they slaves were speaking? French. You know what their last name they picked up was a French last name, most likely.
Look like this. Not exactly a striking resemblance, even if you.
The fuck that's supposed to mean? Because there's a white man with a last name Giles back in the whatever hundreds, and he don't look necessarily like Cameron. Nigga, I don't really know too many Africans that look like Cameron. And that's what you're trying to say that he's from. That's what you're saying.
Put him in a pink fur. On the other hand, there were plenty of slaveholders named Giles. Written records trace the human beings they enslaved to Africa, oftentimes referring to them as Coromantese if they were from modern-day Ghana, Mandingos if they were from the Sahel, Igbos if they were from modern-day Nigeria.
Okay. Let's break this down. Okay. 388,000 to about 400 or some thousand change in the United States. I think it was like 5 to 8%. Most of the African slaves that came from the Atlantic slave trade went to Brazil and the Caribbean islands. Now, on top of that, the one thing that they hate to talk about is that other half. Who's that other half of that other percentage? It is the indigenous people of this country. I'm sorry, it's the truth. We do not have African background. We are different people. Like 500 years. In 500 years, and this is just 500 years for the Africans. 500 plus years, Africans came over to this country. So, that is half of 1,000 years. Half of 1,000 years. Some people see it this way. You go to the Bronx, New York, back in the early 90s, late 80s, you would see a whole bunch of Black Americans. You see Black American businesses, Black Americans, you know what I'm saying, like handball, doing all kinds of shit. Yogi Bear, the whole bank. Look at that motherfucker right now. It don't look the same. It do not look the same. And what is that? In the 90s, let's say that's 30-some years. Yeah. There's a change within that city or any other city within 30 years. And we're just talking about the people that is there. Within 30 years. You're talking about 500 of the things. What are we talking about, sir? But I digress. Let me keep talking.
Well, clearly, the name Giles was passed down from someone who enslaved Africans. Now, modern science places human beings at 300,000 years old, and the oldest archaeological evidence of Homo sapiens is in Africa.
You're 100% right. 100% correct. That the oldest human fossils and the oldest man and women have been found in Africa, which is true that every Homo sapien sapien in this world has some African DNA in them. Now, that being said, they never talk about let's see, Polynesians being black or being African. They never say anything about shit. They don't even say anything about the Brazilians being African. They got way more African than we do. But I feel like they only go by this because of our phenotype. And the funny thing about it is the country that we live in does the same thing. They did the same thing. They went based off of phenotypes. Oh, these look like niggas. Slave. Right. Oh, I'm not from Africa. I'm from Guinea. I'm not from, all the, no, they is born and bred here. But since their phenotype look like somebody else's, slave. You're doing the same thing, but just in a racial history type of thing instead of a slave type of thing. So pretty much it's like we do the same trick colonizing, but it's like, yeah, we ain't voting for that shit. But keep going.
Morocco, South Africa, Ethiopia. And I struggle to understand how 500 years here erases 299,500 years. Now,
Yeah, nigga, because they was cavemen back in there. What the fuck? Nigga, 299. I got to, I got to be an African because the 299,000 people decided they had a dream back in the day. You clock over the head with your club. Like, really, sir? This is the cradle of civilization. These are first, the first humans. What the fuck are we talking about? These are the first humans, watching. If you would have been like 15,000 years ago, that still would have been ridiculous. This brother is talking about 299,000 years ago. I like saying like that, but it's something out here these days. Like, let me get back to it. I digress.
culturally, you resonate with America. Fine. That's a nationality. You may have European or indigenous blood, but your ancestral origin is overwhelmingly African. Take a DNA test. You
Take a DNA test. My brother, did you know that somebody swapped their dog and the dog had Nigeria or something? And like literally, I was supposed to take a DNA test for what, brother? What am I supposed to take a DNA test for? Let me tell you something. And this is for everybody that you won't want to push this narrative. Let's get this shit straight. The Africans that left on that boat and came to these countries are not African. When they step foot onto that boat, on that ship, that shit was on. Oh, it was on. It was on. You went around the trees so you could forget where you came from and all this other stuff. It was gone because they had to go straight to survival mode. They don't know where they're going. So let's cut the shit. Okay? Okay? Y'all was not thinking of these people as actually people. These people's property to y'all too. Y'all sold them. Y'all people try to act like people were stolen. That was bullshit. And there's people a million times. I can even leave you a link to, matter of fact, I'm gonna leave the link to how it was debunked. So, yeah, these people came on these boats, went straight to survival mode. They say they put rice in their hair and all this stuff. That's how we got some rice. Just like for instance, like y'all know that for instance, Jollof is tomato. Tomatoes is not an African food. That's an American.
So it's like, get this in the brain. Those African folks that came over ain't African no more. They're American and they're part of us. Just like the indigenous people. They're not Indian or Native no more. They are part of us. Let's get back to it.
Tell me what it says. I can see Killer being like Cherokees, but you can have a lot of Nigeria in there, my guy. Don't get mad at me because I love Cam. But like Africa stinks. Come on. It stinks.
Look, man. Look. That's the name of the United States that stinks. But you know what we do? Or we tell them, man, you got some smell. Yeah, smell right. Now, it's different cultures. Cause I ain't gonna lie to them. Somebody tell you that. Somebody tell me that, you know, you might have some child. You know, shit together, I'll be body. You know about that. But, yeah, if it's time to correct the shit, I'm correct. I'm not gonna hold it. I ain't gonna hold no grudge. I'm gonna hold it second. No. The truth is the truth that, again, most likely a third world tribal person, you probably won't have access to some of these entities that we have. They won't have clothes, and all this other stuff. Or, you know, so I don't know what part of Africa they'll work to. If he said it, that's his truth. If he said he went to a part of Africa that was funky, nigga, I'm sorry. There's some funky parts of Africa. Not digress.
It's everywhere, nigga. My dogs are shit in my backyard. Now my backyard stinks.
You know, it's just, that's what I'm telling you. Yo, just stop following famous people. Just because a nigga got money and fame and all that other stuff, do not mean that they know what's up with what's up. Some of these people are really, like they don't get it and they're not gonna get it. They are not gonna get it. Never. You can say the same shit to them like, oh yeah, I bet you have Nigeria. Like not understanding that there was Africans that came over to this country before. I'm talking about years before. There was indigenous people here, and there was people that came over here too, way before the transatlantic slave trade. So it's like y'all only know this one part, and y'all constantly stick with it. It's like, yeah, you want to be closer to us. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We saying that, yeah, you cousin. You cousin, is you a brother? Like, we family, but y'all distant cousins. Y'all cousins, you know what I mean? Y'all little distant cousins. Sorry. This is true, this is true. Y'all not in immediate family. Especially after what you did. Because we don't talk about family shit. Let's be real family. There's some families that did hard shit to me. They family members, and if y'all part of this family, like, y'all try to be, yeah, y'all was that family member that did some harsh shit to us. But think about it, you're like, hey, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? We gonna survive. We gonna keep on surviving. That's what we do. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. So, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That shit was long as hell. That was very long. But the action was on point. And there was a lot of truth in it. Yeah, that's today's episode. I say black. The ones that want to be black. And the ones who ain't got no truth.